moving on to the next, welcome back. And here we are going to look for project execution approach. So what execution approach will be there and what Techpledge Consulting will provide its project execution approach and how it will provide. So moving on to the next, it's our deployment approach. So every company has its own deployment approach. So this is how Techpledge Consulting has its own deployment approach. The first is where you need to understand the current business environment and economic. So you need to understand what are the current environment and what is the economic currently going on. The next is understand the as is architecture and constraint. So what is the architecture and what are the constraints that are coming in that? You need to understand that. The next is gather details, usage, like usage data. What is as in usage data? You have to gather that or required all gathering all the requirement. What the architecture usage data is to be like, you need to go for that. After that, you have to develop a detailed financial model for a selection of solution options. So whatever the solutions are, solution options are being there, you need to give it. You need to prepare a detailed financial model for that. The next is designing AWS environment. How the AWS platform, how that environment will be there, that you need to design it. Then giving a proper convention, establishing the naming convention and IP planning. So the sixth step is establishing a proper naming convention and also planning its IP planning should be done. The next step we go with is implement EC2 and RDS for WordPress. So we need to implement, we need to execute the EC2 instance and RDS for WordPress and deploying a WordPress website on EC2 and RDS with help of that. So after that, after doing all this, from understanding the current businesses to moving on to deploying a WordPress site, after that comes into picture is extending the services into AWS. So all the AWS services, we need to extend that, like whatever requirement we have, we extend the services in AWS scalable and performing the UAT test. Like as I said, user acceptance test is very important. All the checksums are performed, all checking things are done, whether it is working fine, the deployment of WordPress site is fine, the application is being running and it is checked properly, all the requirements are met, and after this the results are analyzed, and then the fixing the burning issues and stabilization. So all the bugging issues, like all the bugs are being we do a troubleshooting, we can say we do a debugging for this. So stabilization comes into picture after performing UAT. So next is getting ready with the WordPress site. The last step is getting ready with the WordPress site. So our WordPress site is ready and everything is done. The fixes are being done. It is stabilized and it is ready for use. So from understanding the current business to getting into the WordPress site, this is all approach, and these are the all 12 steps we can see. This is how deployment approach is there.